Hi everyone. So today I was fortunate. I went to the church. It's always a blessing to go. I like it when I wake up early and I make it there. Sometimes I have other things on. I have courses or I have webinars that I've signed up for. And they can be quite draining because it's a lot of distinguished speakers. It's a lot of people who are in very high authoritarian positions in our society. So it's a lot to take in, and that's part of the reason that I sometimes prefer to do these things from home rather than go to the Rotman Center or places like that. Rotman has changed a lot compared to when I started there, and it can be quite heavy. So I prefer to be at home. That way I can just get up and have a cup of coffee or something, because it can be draining. It's like it can be very heavy on me. So I don't want to go there and fall asleep. But yeah, the sessions are very good and they're very informative. You know, it's a lot of distinguished people that give these talks, MPs, like people from the Bank of Canada. So I will go back when I start earning. I'll start going out and going to events, but right now I do have to watch everything that I am spending, and it's also not fair on other people. I know other people have jobs, so they should be willing to help, but it becomes a bind on them. It becomes draining on them because they're taking out their savings so that I can live. And obviously they don't want me to go and live in a shelter or go live in a tent. They want me to be able to meet my needs, but they also have their own needs. And for someone like me, it's very hard. It's very disheartening and it's very discouraging, especially when you've been going through it since the time you came to Canada. It's very, very hard because it's racialism and it's structural injustice, and it's not just me saying it. If you listen to what Pierre is saying, Pierre Poilievre, if you listen to what Stephen Harper is saying, it's structural injustice. The same thing with ICE. Why should ICE be in Canada? That's why I'm supporting the Sisters of Mercy, saying that they shouldn't get any more funding. Because the sisters are there in America. They can see what's happening. They can help to guide what I am seeing and what I am listening to. Because yes, I agree that, you know, immigration should be legal. There should be legal processes in place. But what's happening now with ICE, the way they're treating people, it's just inhumane. And I don't want that to start in Canada too. So please support the Sisters of Mercy when they speak out about it. The Sisters of St. Joseph are also good. And you'll find that that kind of justice work is more prevalent with the sisters, even compared to the Jesuits. I'm kind of surprised at how the Jesuits are here compared to in England, and compared to how they used to be. They've changed a lot. So you don't see me at Regis College that often anymore. I don't even know the president. Apparently I was sitting next to him when I went for Pope Francis's funeral mass that they had. I don't even know many of the people there anymore. But you know, the college is also confusing because they've got two Facebook pages. They've got one for Regis College and then they've got one for Regis St. Michael's. So you don't know which one to follow. You don't know which one to support. And it's like, okay, when is this transition going to finish? Either we're going to be Regis College or we're going to be Regis St. Michael's. And most of us who went to Regis feel that they're losing what made the college special by joining to St. Michael's College, because it was unique. It was a small college, and the accreditation that they had to go through was very, very high. So they were distinct from St. Michael's. I didn't like St. Michael's as much as I liked Regis. Even with my courses, I used to prefer to take them at Regis College unless I didn't have a choice. So they did some polling and they interviewed many of the alumni, and I made my views known. But anyway, we'll see. Because sometimes they post on the Regis College page, sometimes they post on this new page. So I just changed on LinkedIn. I just put my education under University of Toronto, because when I graduated, they became part of U of T. And then I just explained that it was conjoined between the two colleges, because it gets confusing for people. If it's confusing for me, imagine how confusing it is for people on the outside when you're trying to land a job, you're trying to get an opportunity. And there's many people with degrees in theology that work in business. They work as executive assistants, they work in HR, they work in the church as well. There's many of us, it's not only me. In fact, Chris Lowney, he was somebody that was a Jesuit, and he was very influential in finance. So, I don't know, it's just, for me, it's very confusing how somebody like me who's diligent, who's hardworking, and who has so much to offer can't get anything. It's very confusing for me. I mean, even if I had to get a job at Brookfield, I would take it. Because it's come to a point where I can understand why some of the MPs are just leaving and they're going to join the Liberal Party. Because it's like you hit a brick wall. You can't get anything. I mean, not even enough to have your basic expenses paid. It's ridiculous. And then when you bring your mother here or your parents, they expect you to take care of them. How am I supposed to do that when I'm constantly unemployed, and it's not because of anything I've done wrong? It's because the company eliminated the positions, or they don't have anything, and then I'm sitting at home for 2 years, 3 years. This has been going on since 2002. And it's not like the Jesuits don't know. I've told them many times, Scott Lewis is not here, so he can't fight for me. It's the sisters that fight for me, because they know that what's happening to me is wrong. The bishops and the cardinals and all, they should be taking these things up and fighting for the Catholics to have Sundays, to have the weekends off when we need it, especially if you've got a position like you're a spiritual director in the church. There should be some accommodation. I shouldn't have to go and register for subsidized housing and be in fear of where am I going to live, and there's no supports in place. It's really, to me, it's wrong what's happened to my life, and I made it known to the Jesuits. I wrote to Regis College, I wrote to the Jesuits here, even the cardinals know. They know. I mean, you can't even get a basic job, not even a job in retail or administration. And yet they say you need to study, you need to get an education. If you don't get an education, you can't go anywhere in life. You need an education to get into anything. And that education should pay off in good paying jobs. It shouldn't constantly lead to poverty and discrimination and the way I'm being treated. It's not just me that's going through it. And it's very, very serious. It's very, very frightening. Because when you tell the companies, like, this is hurting us, the way you people are treating us and what you're doing, they're like, oh, you can just go. If you don't want it, we'll get somebody else. That's wrong. It's inhumane. All these laws that we have for human rights and all that, it's all on paper. They don't treat you properly. Even now with my glasses, the eye care costs $90 just to get the test. Then my glasses are all scratched. I can't even go and get a new pair of glasses because the glasses cost, a good pair of glasses cost $300 to $400. And I'm not somebody that hasn't worked hard. I'm not somebody that's caused problems for Canada, for Toronto. I'm an educated woman. And I can't even afford the basics. I can't even afford to go and get a new pair of glasses to have an annual eye care check done. Now I've got the dental because they implemented this dental program after almost 20 years of people fighting for it. Before that, thank God I didn't have any problems with my teeth, because before that I had nothing. And if you're on minimum wage and you're working at somewhere like Teleperformance, they didn't even have that when I started there. People had to fight for it. And then slowly they brought in the health care. You don't get a pension if you work at the call center. There's no pension. So when I retire, what am I going to retire on? When I bought my home, I bought that condo for me and my mom. That was my home. I didn't buy it just to invest in property. I don't have the money to invest in properties and flip them. And now many of the people that bought condominiums and homes pre-construction, they're losing on those properties because people buy properties here. They come from China and other places. Even the rich Africans, the blacks, they come here, they buy properties and they flip them. And that's how they make their money. I didn't buy it for that purpose. That was my home. And it was a basic condo because I got tired of going out in the cold and sitting at laundrettes where there's drunks, there's drug addicts, and doing my laundry there. That's why I want to be in a condo or buy my own home where I have the washer dryer inside. I'm also on my own. I also value my safety. I also value my life. I'm not just doing my social justice work so that other people can come up and other people can be safe. What about my life? And when even in today's gospel, the people took the man who was deaf and who couldn't speak, he had a speech impairment, to Jesus to be healed. We go to Jesus because we know Jesus is the answer. And if people think I'm going to leave my religion and if that's what this is about, I won't leave him. I mean, how many years do you have to persist in trying to break my faith? I'm not leaving Jesus. And that's why I said, if this carries on, I will go to the sisters and I'll become a nun. Not because I want to, or not because there's no other opportunities. There are. There's a lot of jobs and there's a lot of opportunities. But if this is being designed to break my faith, to make me turn to the Muslim religion or the Hindu religion or some other foreign god, I'm not going to do it. So when do you give up? And when do you actually put proper systems in place so that I don't get fined because my CRA, they didn't do it properly, so I landed up paying 1,100 back. And on top of that, they put liens against me. Knowing I was in minimum wage, I didn't even have enough money to afford the basics. They couldn't even help me out and show me some mercy. And if my payments were going to be late, I had to call them every week and tell them my payment's going to be late or I can't make it. I have to take out loans on 40% interest to pay my rent. Because you can't go and rent a room in a house if you're not working. And if you're earning too little on minimum wage, people don't even want to give you that room in the house to rent. It's not fair to me. With my skills, with my qualifications, executive assistants are starting at 65,000. And even if it's not here, even if I get a job in America or somewhere else, why am I not supported to go? All these executives I worked with, in the banks, in healthcare, in finance, in insurance, why aren't you doing something to help me to get into a good paid job? Because all of you are fine. All of you have got your 6-figure salaries. Your families are in good schools. Your families are taken care of financially. So why isn't your conscience bothering you? Why aren't you doing something to help me? Because I was the one that helped you. I was the one that helped you to get into good relationships with Jean de Gagne. All of you were scared of him. All of you. And don't deny it. You were all scared of Jean. I was the only one that had a good relationship with him. and then afterwards people cause problems for me. Why isn't that team helping me, that whole team that reported into Jean de Gagne and Teresa Bowman, why aren't they helping me to get into good paid jobs as an executive assistant and making sure I get treated properly? All the hospitals I worked at Regis College. Why aren't my professors and all the people that are working there now, why aren't they helping me to get into a good paid job at Regis College? I could help as a teaching assistant, or even in banking or finance. They have connections all over the world, not just in Toronto. My cousin's wife sent me a link for job postings, but that link that she sent me, it's for people who want to come to Canada. It's not for people like me who are established here. So that's why I told her that it's not for me, because they're recruiting people to come here to work in minimum wage. I'm tired of taking minimum wage. I'm tired of earning $200 a year or $9,000 a year or $35,000 a year. I'm tired of it. I work so hard to get to where I am, and I can't even afford to take care of my mother. I signed those papers. I brought her here. The family supported me, but I did it. I had to go and meet with Mr. Volpe alone. Nobody came with me. No one had the time. And it's the same thing I go through over and over and over. When I need the help, when I need people to step up, why is it that I'm always left to deal with everything on my own? It's not fair to me. I was treated like a man. The responsibilities I took on are the responsibilities my dad should have been taking on. I'm tired of it. I also want things to change for me and to get better for me. And people should start listening to me and my story and helping me, not leaving me to just deal with everything on my own. Even in that story, Jesus first opens the ear and then he opens the mouth. Everybody's always got something to say. Why don't you listen to your constituents? Why don't you listen to the people in the church who are telling you that I should be in a good paid job? It's the parishioners that are going and fighting for me to get a job in the church. Why is it that way? Why did Regis College even bother to train me, and Father Damien Howard bother to bring me into becoming a spiritual director if he's not going to even help me? What is the point of him going and telling Father Ray and all the other Jesuits that he likes me if he's not doing anything to make sure that I have a roof over my head, that I have an income coming in, that I have the basics taken care of? What is the point? I'm very, very disheartened by what is happening to my life. I deserve better, and it's not fair to my aunt and my mother and everybody else. They're doing it because they love me, because they don't want to see me living on the street or being trafficked or receive messages like the ones I'm getting that, oh, if you come and clean, we'll pay you extra if you have sex. What a horrible way to treat a respectable woman. And Canada's standards have fallen so low, I'm disgusted with it. I'm glad the Sisters of Mercy are standing up to ICE. I'm glad. It was time. I'm tired of fighting it on my own. People should have listened to me the first time. That's what I say. And I'm not leaving Jesus. So if you people think that I'm going to be like Lady Diana or whoever, or have an affair like Camilla, you got another thing coming. I grew up in a very poor family, and my standards are my standards. And maybe you think, oh yeah, she's a country bumpkin, that's why she's keeping those values. You know what? Your values are not helping the society and the world. Your values are based on people like Epstein, and they're disgusting. So wake up.